Pretty much everyone on YouTube at the moment seems to be talking about plug-in solar, don't they? This is the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X, and I got this earlier in the year along with a couple of 450 watt solar panels. I put the panels on top of this flat roof here, and I've had my home office plugged into this, effectively taking my office off grid. And this is me plugging in the office. Not the most elegant of solutions, and yes, I really should do something in the wall properly. Now the problem is, when I did this video, I had a lot of people telling me they're out of stock. So I released a video, and embarrassingly, none of you could get hold of the STREAM Ultra X. Thankfully, EcoFlow have now got loads in stock. So what I wanted to do was do a little update about how I found this, answer a few of your questions, because I had a few of those, and maybe I'll even plug the car into this and just get a few free miles while I'm at it. So let me just start by saying, if you do end up liking this video, please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos. It really helps grow the channel, helps me get more batteries from manufacturers so I can test them all, because what I want to do is a massive comparison between all these different batteries, since there's like an explosion of interest at the moment in batteries. Explosion's probably the wrong word, isn't it? Anyway, lots of manufacturers are producing batteries at the moment, and I would love to compare them all to this. Okay, right, let's plug the car in, and we're going to see how many miles we can get out of this. Now, this is a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery here. It is plugged into the two solar panels on the roof, but it's a little bit cloudy today, so we'll see what we get. I'm going to plug in with this. This is a portable charger, or granny charger, if you want to call it that. This is from a company called EV Dance. It's actually brand new. I've not used it yet, so it's going to be a little bit of a test of this as well, although I will do a separate video about that. And it's a lovely 10-meter long cable, so I'm hoping I can plug it into the car without using an extension. First of all, we're going to plug in this. So you can lift up this little lid here, and you can see we have two sockets, two 3-pin sockets here. Here you've got a parallel connection. That's if you get another one of these EcoFlow streams and you want to join it up, which I'm going to do at some point, I think. And then there's the connection that goes to the grid, if you're going to plug it into the grid. But that, I think, we're going to have to talk a little bit about later. So first of all, let's plug this in. And I really don't want to scratch this because it is brand new and I've taken off the plastic. So that's plugged in, and then we'll turn on AC. Click. It says ready, it says 10 amps, but 10 amps is going to be too much for this. So I'm going to have to reduce that down to 6 amps. Otherwise, it's just going to be too much for this to handle, and I'll get a little error message and it'll stop charging the car. So I'm going to change this to 6 amps. So there we go, that's set to 6. You have to make sure you reduce the amps, because at 10 amps, the granny charger would pull about 2.2 kilowatts. And that's going to be too much for this, because the maximum this will do when it's working off grid is 1,200 watts. So that's why we've got to reduce the amps. Okay, let's plug in the car. Let's see if this will stretch without using an extension lead. It's not going to, is it? It'll... Oh, it's so close, it's so close. Oh, look at that. In it goes. Hopefully it starts charging. Vehicle control system fault. It cannot operate when the vehicle is unactived. So clearly the MG5 won't accept charging all the way down to 6 amps. It is unfortunate. The e-Niro works fine. I tried it in the Ford Puma and that didn't work either. So it's just another bonus for the e-Niro, which remains the best car ever, doesn't it? My wife's just come back with the e-Niro, a car that is happy to charge at only 6 amps. Okay, so we've got 181 miles of range and 66% battery. Let's see what we can add. And you can see it's discharging 1.16 kilowatts. Now that's automatically dipped down to 5 amps. So that's charging at 1.15 kilowatts. It's a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery, so it'll be about 3.3 hours until it depletes the battery. Okay, so just a bit of a recap then. What is this? This is the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X. It's a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery. It's incredibly heavy. You need to know that. I've knackered my back moving this into position. You've got 4 MPPTs at the back, that will accept up to 2 kilowatts of solar. 2 3-pin sockets at the back, so I've obviously got the car plugged in here, but I could potentially plug some more stuff into this as well. Bear in mind though that the maximum you get out of this is 1.2 kilowatts if you're off-grid like me. There's a little grid port there. If I plug this into the grid, so if I just plugged it into a 3-pin socket, then you would get 2.3 kilowatts out of this. If you are plugging this into your house, there's a big asterisk there. I'll talk about that later. This, in the UK anyway, this will only output up to 800 watts back into your house or into the grid. So who would want a home solar battery like this? These are the batteries we have on the side of the house. These were installed by Heatable as part of our solar battery install. Watch the video if you haven't seen that already. This is fantastic. This is 20 kilowatt hours in total, so it's a lot of battery storage. But if you're renting, or if you own your house and you just don't want to go through the hassle and expense of putting in something like this, then a smaller home solar battery does make a lot of sense. So obviously it's a relatively small battery, so it's quite easy to just pick it up and take it with you when you move house. It's also just a very quick and easy way of reducing your house's energy bills, because bills do seem to be going up all the time, don't they? So anything you can do to reduce that is good. Obviously get one of these, link it with solar panels if you want, or just charge it overnight off peak and then use that cheap electricity during the day. And it's very easy to put multiple batteries together to expand the capacity or add more solar panels as and when you can afford it. So it's just flexible. That's the word, isn't it? It's flexible. So we've had it for months. There's only one issue that I've had with it, and that is that the Wi-Fi connection will drop out after a period of inactivity. So ordinarily I've got the office plugged into this and I unplug it at the end of every night, only because at the moment I've got the window open and I will dangle the extension lead down here, and I obviously want to close the window at night. So I just noticed that the next day I come to it and the Wi-Fi connection has dropped. So it means I have to go onto the app, which connects with Bluetooth all the time, that's fine, and then I just have to redo the Wi-Fi connection. It's kept the Wi-Fi network name and the password, so I just have to press the button and reconnect it. And I noticed this when I first got it, and I mentioned it in my first review, and I kind of figured it was a bit annoying, but I've just got a Jackery battery that I'm testing. The Jackery doesn't do it. It keeps the Wi-Fi connection active the whole time, but of course in doing that it means that there's more battery drain when you're not actually using it. So I think that's probably why EcoFlow dropped the Wi-Fi connection. So I suppose it would be nice to have the option of keeping it active, but it's not. Anyway, other than that, I've got no complaints about this. I've left it outside in the rain, in the elements. It's been fine. Not that we've really had any rain for weeks and weeks. It's really bad actually at the moment in terms of drought. So there hasn't been much rain, but it's been fine. It is IP65, and at the back here, these terminals are open to the elements at the moment, but ordinarily that will go on there. And that seems okay. It's been pretty sunny most days. When it's not sunny, because it's a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery, which is quite big, it's easily enough to cope with the office for a good couple of days, really, even if there's no sun. We're 2:45 in the afternoon at the moment. You can see that the solar is about 270 watts at the moment. And we're still outputting the 1.15 kilowatts to the car. And you can see that the rest is coming from the battery. So about 920 watts at the moment is coming from the battery. And I really like all the analytics and stats that you get from this. Let's have a look at that. So if we look at solar generation, let's go to month, and we'll go to June where I was using it much more. So you can see these are the kind of stats that you get. You can see how much flows to the home. Well, I say flows to home, it flows to the AC socket that I've got the office plugged into, and how much goes to the battery. And you get all these stats like that. It's all very neat. And how have the solar panels been performing? Well, we've got two 450 watt panels on the roof. That would be a 900 watt peak performance we get from it, but I haven't seen 900 watts. The maximum I've really seen is right now, in fact. So we've got about 850 watts, which is still pretty good, actually. It's helped by the fact that it's a bit windy, because if it's windy and you've got sun, that helps cool down the panels a little bit, so that increases efficiency. I had loads of comments on the previous video, so I'm going to try and answer some of the questions as best I can. So firstly, do you need an app to get this set up? And yes, you do. So when you first get it out of the box, you do have to get it all connected with the app before you can start using it. There's no screen anywhere on here, so It sort of makes sense really that everything has to be done through the app. I think most people would be fine with that, but if you were looking for something that's a bit more plug and play straight out of the box, this isn't it. So the big one, I suppose, is the UK regulations. Is it legal to just plug this in to a socket in your house? And the answer is no, it isn't. I think EcoFlow and many other companies thought that it would be legal by now, but it's not yet anyway. From August 27th, it will be legal to get solar panels with a microinverter, and then you plug the microinverter into a socket. But batteries like this, they're not legal yet. Hopefully by the end of the year, or perhaps early next year, the government will change the regs to allow for that, but it hasn't happened yet. Bit of a clarification, you're absolutely fine to plug this into a 3-pin socket in your house if all you're doing is charging this up overnight at the cheap rate, for instance, and then using that throughout the day. That's absolutely fine. The only issue is if you plug this into the 3-pin socket and then you're putting power back into the house or into the grid. That's the bit that the regulations currently say you can't do. This is what the cable looks like for connecting to the grid. Clearly there's something missing there. You've got to add your own 3-pin plug on that. I wonder whether they've done that to discourage you from plugging in until the regulations allow. Well, that's my guess anyway. So this bit plugs into the back. This is the little grid connection socket, and that's where that goes. And just to say that when the regulations change and you can use a battery and feed energy back into the house or the grid, then you have to make sure you fill in a G98 form with your DNO. That just tells them that you're generating a little bit of electricity. You've also got to have a bidirectional RCBO on your consumer unit for whichever circuit you've plugged that into. You've actually got to have those things whether you have the battery or whether you use a microinverter. So either way, you've got to do that. It will work without the bidirectional RCBO, by the way, but that just adds an extra layer of safety. So a big question involving safety is what happens if you did have this battery plugged into your house in a 3-pin socket. What happens if there's a power cut and the grid goes out, but you're still putting energy back into the house or back into the grid using this? What happens then? So this has anti-islanding protection, which means that if it senses that there's no grid connection, then this automatically shuts off and it won't be powering your house and it won't be powering the grid. It won't be exporting anything back to the grid. So that's fine. You're not going to electrocute anyone working on the power lines or anything. However, it does have the 2 AC sockets at the top, like I'm charging the car from at the moment. Those stay active. So it could be that if you had this plugged into your house, you could use those AC sockets for things that you want kept on in an emergency, like fridges, freezers, or your internet or whatever else. And it's a 10 millisecond switch over it's got. So that's all good. You're not going to electrocute anyone. It's all pretty safe. Earthing. Now, as I showed in the previous video, I've got the 2 450 watt panels on the top. I've got this here. This isn't plugged into the house, so it's not actually earthed in any way, and nor are the panels. And a few people mentioned this, and it's something that I should probably do, isn't it? You can connect your earthing cable to that, and then connect that to an earthing rod. And I do have one here, but that is supposed to be much, much lower. And it just kind of got stuck. So I've got to take that out and maybe hammer it in at an angle, perhaps. But I've knackered my back, so I'm not going to be doing that right now. This is the clamp that would go on the earth rod, but ideally you would obviously attach the earthing cable to it using the lug. But this lug is too big a hole for the EcoFlow, and it's too small for this. It doesn't fit on there properly. So it's what's known in the trade as an epic fail. And it's just more proof that I should never do DIY. God, they're so dusty. So here I've got flat roof brackets, but EcoFlow do make quite a wide variety of different brackets, because you can obviously have it on a flat roof, or they're also called balcony solar systems because a lot of people overhang the panels over their balcony. So you can get systems like that, or mounting them inside the balcony as well. EcoFlow have got quite a wide variety of different brackets for whatever you need. Quite a few people said that what I'm weighing these down with is not sufficient, and you're absolutely right. I've just got some brick slabs on here. It's not really enough. So I will come up here with some sandbags or something just to weigh them down even more. Even though, I mean, they are pretty heavy, but in a really, really strong wind, then perhaps they would start to move, even though we've had really windy days, actually, quite stormy, windy days, and these haven't moved at all. So I'm confident they're fairly safe, but I will come up here and sort that out. And I've also got to earth these panels as well, because if these were connected to the battery and they got struck by lightning, then I wouldn't fancy the battery's chances much. So yeah, I will earth them, I will put on proper sandbags. And yes, I'm aware that I'm saying this months after I actually did the install and I still haven't done it, but you know, bad back, holiday, pick an excuse. And just also to say it's completely silent. I mean, we're obviously charging from the solar panels at the moment and we're putting power into the car, which is, you know, quite a load really, and you can't hear a thing. So that's pretty good, and quite a contrast to the EcoFlow Delta 2 that I've got inside, which is quite loud sometimes. I'm a very light user of this, so I'm not even going to bother trying to work out the return on investment, especially as I got this for free from EcoFlow, to be honest. So if you were getting one of these systems, this is £1,299. I might have a discount code for you, so do look in the description to see if there is one. The two panels on the flat roof, they were £399 for those, and then the flat roof bracket was a bit extra, and I can't remember how much, but I'll stick it on screen. So if you were going to get a system like this, then you might want to work out the return on investment, and you'll have to do a little bit of spreadsheeting. It's impossible for me to tell you what your return on investment might be, because so much is dependent on the position of the solar panels, how many panels you've got, whether you've got this plugged into the house, and whether you're charging it up at the off-peak rate overnight and then using that cheap electricity throughout the day, all these kinds of things. You could potentially save a lot, but me as a light user, I'm not saving much. However, I am saving my sanity sometimes, because we have lots of little micro power cuts here which drive me mad. And if I'm doing some work, especially some video work, which I do obviously quite a lot, and I've got my hard drive plugged in, if it's plugged into the house, then it just turns off, and then I may lose work, or it may take another 10 minutes to turn it all back on again. It drives me mad. Plugged into this, it's so much better. So that's happened a few times where I've been off grid, and I've thanked my lucky stars that I've had this. It's been wonderful. But how much could you potentially save? Well, let's just take the solar panels out of the equation for the moment. If you were on the same tariff that I'm on Intelligent Octopus Go, which I've fixed for 12 months because of all the Iran war stuff. So I'm actually paying a little bit more than I was. Anyway, it's 8 pence at the moment for me at my off-peak rate. So if I had this plugged into the house and I was charging this up at the 8 pence rate overnight, and then I was using it throughout the day, that means that I would be saving 25.54 pence per kilowatt hour. This is 3.84 kilowatt hours, this battery. So let's times that by 3.84. So I would be saving just over 98 pence a day. So let's times that by 365. I would potentially be saving £357.70 over a year. 1,300 divided by 357. So you'd be looking at a payback of 3.6 years. But that's not plugging any solar panels into this. So do that, and then that changes the equation completely, doesn't it? And the return on investment should, in theory, be much faster. So we've completely depleted the battery. We're now at 0%. Okay, let's see how many miles we've added. It's not going to be many. So we're on 71% battery, 195 miles. So we've added 5% battery and a full 14 miles of range, which doesn't sound like much, but it is just about what we do for a school run, actually, going there and back twice a day. So not too bad, really. And bear in mind, it's been a little bit cloudy, actually, today. So we would have added more miles if there was more sun. So by charging the car from here, I've saved the grand total of 30 pence, instead of just charging overnight at 8 pence per kilowatt hour. So is there any point at all charging the car from that? Not really. No. But I suppose it's good to show that it's possible, and let's say all the electrics weren't working, it's nice to know that I can charge the car from that, right? I should also say that If you want one of these 3-pin chargers, do follow the link in the description below. This EV Dance one does seem to be really good. It's literally the first time I've used it, and seems to work a treat. And really nice long 10-meter cable, which is a fantastic thing. So there it is, the EcoFlow STREAM Ultra X. I really like it. I don't really have any complaints particularly, other than the Wi-Fi dropping out, but as I said, I can kind of see the justification for it doing that. It's fantastic, but what I'm not doing is using it to its full potential. So let me know in the comments what you're doing with yours, if you have one, if you like it. Also let me know if you're not in the UK and therefore can legally plug this into your house. Let me know if you're doing that. Let me know how much you're saving. I think there's a lot of potential here with this and all the other plug-in battery systems that are on their way to the UK. So I'm looking forward to the UK government actually including these batteries in the regs, because a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery is quite a big chunk actually going back into the house. I mean, that's going to knock quite a lot of money off people's energy bills. Obviously, a lot of people are probably plugging this into their houses already, even before the regulations have changed, but you didn't hear that from me. Just to say that EcoFlow have a whole new generation of Stream devices coming, so stay tuned for a video about the AC5000, which is in my garage at the moment, and I still have to unbox it and start playing with it. But I'll do a video about that, what's changed, and comparing it to the STREAM Ultra X. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos, and I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.